been hearing the news reports that the Fed wants to lower mortgage interest rates to 4.5%. And they may do something outside of market conditions to make that happen. If so, they've said that that's going to be for purchase loans only, not for refinances. But that's okay, because right now, mortgage rates are in the low 4s to high 5% ranges for 30-year fixed rates. They're at their lowest point that they've been in years and years, probably ever. I don't think that's going to last very long, though. So I want to talk to you right now if you want to refinance. The reason it's not going to last very long is the SEC has said that in early January they're going to potentially revise this mark-to-market rule. Now, if you've been reading my blog for any length of time or getting my newsletter, you know I've been harping on this mark-to-market as the thing that's made this credit crisis really much worse than it needed to be. Now, the catalyst for the whole credit crisis, of course, were subprime loans and these exotic negative amortizing loans and whatnot. Loans that were made to people who really couldn't afford them. That was the catalyst. And we saw the big run-up in home prices because everybody could buy a home. And now home prices are coming down. That's a natural effect, and it should have happened. What should not have happened was the exacerbating effect, which was mark-to-market. It's ways that one bank will have to value its portfolio of loans against every other bank in the marketplace, every other portfolio of loans, mortgage loans in the marketplace. I'll give you an example. It's kind of like when you get an appraisal on your home in your neighborhood. Well, if every home in the neighborhood is going up in value, your home is going up in value. You may not have done anything to it. You may not have put an addition on. You may not have added granite countertops or hardwood floors. Your home just goes up in value along with all the rest of the comparable sales. Same holds true for now, when most of us are seeing our home values drop in value. Now, we haven't changed anything on the home. We still keep it up just fine. But it's going down because all the comparable sales in the neighborhood are selling for less and less and less. So your $400,000 home back in 2006 is now worth $300,000. Same thing with mark-to-market. If a Bank A has a portfolio of well-performing mortgage loans over here, and everybody's paying on time, and all their clients are happy, and they even send them Christmas cards every holiday and say, "Thanks for taking care of my mortgage," then they should be able to value those based on their original value. They're performing just like they said they would perform. But mark-to-market, first of all, came about after Enron, and it was part of the Sarbanes-Oxley bill. Sarbanes-Oxley was a reaction to Enron, and like most government fixes to things, it was an overreaction, of course. But it has some good parts in it, and so mark-to-market and Sarbanes-Oxley will not go away in January when the SEC meets. That bill was put in place to ensure transparency on the part of executive officers to their shareholders, so that something like Enron could never happen again. Well, with the mark-to-market, that was one of the pieces that went a bit overboard and has really exacerbated this whole credit crisis. What it says is a bank normally has $1 in deposits and it can lend out or leverage, say $15, $16 in the marketplace, so it can make that many loans. Well, a bank that's playing by the rules, keeping everything in balance and leveraging properly, suddenly, because of mark-to-market, has to value this portfolio of loans against all the other landscape of loans out there that are not performing well. And they have to take a paper loss because of that. They said, no, this portfolio of loans looks just like yours and it just sold for a whole lot less because nobody's buying these loans in the marketplace right now, at least not for face value, for the true worth. As that happens, the banks was 15-to-1 leveraged, and now it's 30-to-1 leveraged. And the SEC and the FDIC come knocking on the banker's door and say, no, that's not going to work. You're going to have to sell assets or raise capital. Well, in this credit environment, it's not easy to raise capital, so they sell assets and it becomes part of the problem all over again. They have to sell them, but the marketplace doesn't want to buy them for face value, so they sell them for less. Everybody else has to devalue theirs, and the whole thing has been exacerbated. Okay, I tell you that to tell you this, that in January the SEC is meeting to possibly revise the mark to market. One thing they may do is not make it such a comparable sale approach, but more like a commercial property, where it's a cash flow approach to value these assets. If the cash flow is perfect on them, just like they're supposed to be, then the value is just like they were when they were made, when those loans were made. If the SEC does revise the mark to market, we're going to see a big rally in the stock market. And so, all of us who have these 401ks that are devalued, and we hate to look at them right now, we may see 1,000, 2,000 point jump in a very short time in the stock market. The opposite will hold true for the bond market, because there's always that seesaw effect. When the marketplace senses fear, it goes to safety, which is bonds. Lower rate of return, but they're safe. Hence, we've seen that big rally in the treasury bonds. When the sentiment changes and people sense, oh, everything's kind of getting happy again, and I can possibly get a bigger rate of return on my money out here in the stock market, that's where the money flows. And I think that's what we'll see if the SEC does revise the mark-to-market ruling. We'll see money flow into bonds and into stocks rather, and out of bonds, and therefore these mortgage rates will go way up. I predict considerably higher in a very short period of time. So if you're in the marketplace to refinance, now's the time. You don't want to miss this boat. The boat is pulling out from the pier, it looks like, from all appearances, and you don't want to be standing on the dock wishing you had jumped in. So get on board now, give me a call. Let's see if it makes sense to refinance now into a long-term 30-year or 15-year fixed rate mortgage.